Hello, my name is Mark Leonard, and this is the seventh and final part of the AS Media Evaluation. Looking back at your preliminary task, what do you feel you have learned in the progression from it to full product? Well, let's start off with the student magazine I made. I made it about pop guns because, well, to be honest, it was the first thing that came to my head at the time, and I thought I might as well do it. It seemed like a good idea. Uh, Doing this, it was the first time I used InDesign, and it was the first time I used Photoshop to this degree of editing. Uh, I try to keep it simple. I try to mirror a magazine called OXM, which was a magazine I was reading at the time. It didn't work out to the best effect that I wanted, but for the first time I've ever used it, I thought it was a decent attempt. I tried to follow some of the classic conventions of a magazine. I added a plug, I added cover lines, and but ultimately it didn't look how I wanted. But I will be fair, for a first attempt, it was fairly decent. Uh, Onto the music magazine. Uh, First, the front cover I did. It was well, this is the first front cover I did two. Uh, it's similar to the student magazine. It's simplistic, a bit boxy, and but the colours didn't really match up with the genre I was aiming for. I also have to say I didn't really follow many examples. I went for sort of my own style, and it turned out okay, but I felt like I made it try too hard to be a music magazine cover. So ultimately, I redid it, and I used Kerrang magazine as a guide, and it came out as this one. I changed the name of the band. I changed the colour scheme I used. I made the main cover story more dominant on the cover. I changed the font of the text, and I also changed the position of the cover lines. I kept the bottom a little bit boxy, but that was mainly just to separate the other stories up. Um, for the double page spread, I went for a newspaper sort of look. I was never really happy with the layout, but I felt like I felt like I left too much white space, so I changed it round, using the Kerrang magazine as a guide again, and again, like on the front cover, I made the main image the dominating factor on the page. I also uh, compressed the text. I put it into a smaller space, and I improved the look of the stand first. I changed the words, and changed the fonts and stuff. Uh, the con the contents page, I have to say, was probably the biggest mistake I did when doing the magazine. Uh, in GCSE, I learned about contrasting colours, and so I thought, oh, go on then, red and blue, very good contrasting colours. They work well when when they're contrasting, but not when they're text. So like red background, blue text, it doesn't really work. It makes it quite difficult to see and make out what some of the letters are. So, uh, but also you can see the magazine's only 23, 24 pages long, so uh, I had to extend that to a more reasonable amount of what you'd expect from a magazine. So in the new version, I took away the image of the band that was on the cover, because there's already quite a few images of them, so I thought I don't want to make it too focused on them. Uh, because readers of this sort of magazine would want to know about other bands. I made the magazine appear to be 3 times longer than the last, so the numbers go all the way up to 56, I believe. I'm not actually looking at the image. Uh, I kept the column structure. So, like in the last one, it was 3 columns. In this one, I kept that sort of structure. Um, but where you can see the image, uh, in the top left, it's taking up 2 of the columns, mainly just to say that that's another important article in the magazine.